Hi, I'm Billy Thomas. I'm the drummer with the Time Jumpers, and we have been here. We just celebrated as the group has gone through a bunch of different incarnations, or whatever you want to call that, evolution of the band. We just are celebrating 27 years all together from the beginning. I'm one of the new members. I've only been here like 14 or 15 years. So I happened to meet Vince Gill. He was looking for a drummer. I was singing at the time, and so we got together and sang, and I think meeting him and seeing him in his really hungry days, early days, made an impression on both of us. He saw something in me, and I definitely saw something in him. I thought there was a huge and diverse pool of talent moving here at that time. I still feel that way. This was the late 80s, and everything from Steve Earle to Foster and Lloyd, to Vince Gill, to Reba McEntire, to Keith Whitley, to Lyle Lovett. I mean, it was so vast, and it was all coming, and I knew I could feel something in my life exploding again, unlike it did in Los Angeles for me, doing what I did out there. This was a whole new rebirth for me, and I was so welcomed that it was very encouraging to me. And I think the diversity that I knew back then, some people say that the town is exploding and going through a big renaissance again. Well, that for me was the best thing about Nashville, the most artistic scene I had ever been in. But I think the question is, what do I think of Nashville? And my response to that would be, well, I moved here in 1987, and it was a different town, a completely different town, a much more open town. And I moved here from out west in Los Angeles with a family and a dog. And when we got here, I didn't know hardly anyone. And I had a couple people in town, and they were really great about showing me around and getting me plugged into the local. And every door that I came to when I moved here was open. If I wanted a meeting, I could go meet. If I wanted a publisher or a record label or whatever, it was just very, very accessible. I'm sad to say that that's changed with corporate America and with the volume of people, I think, trying to get in those doors. I think a lot of that has changed. And so, but I see growth in the city, and good growth musically. I'm not doing as much as I used to in the city. I'm married a country girl, so I live outside of the city, about 30 miles or so west, and really enjoy that. Our life together has been really good, and I've gotten to know some, to me, real country folk. I guess if you're referring to where the city stands now, a lot of people complain about it, but I just ran into a friend last night. I was out on the road, and he lives in Augusta, Georgia now. And he's an artist. He's a drummer, but he's also a painter. And he said to me, you know, I really miss Nashville. I miss the artistic current that is going through that city all the time. And so I think those of us who live here all the time kind of take that for granted. There's a whole culture here, and music, I think, leads the way, but I think there's a whole other bunch of people moving here to get plugged into that same thing, that same energy that he was talking about. The undercurrent of art is pretty incredible here. So I think I think those city leaders that have invited people in have done great with that particular situation. I would say that the song that changed my perception of the city and my perception of this community, there were a couple things actually. When I moved here, one of the first artists I got to play with was Emmylou Harris, and also Vince Gill. But Emmylou, when I moved here, I wasn't as familiar with country as a lot of folks were. And so when I spoke to her about it, she said, well, who do you listen to in country music? And I said, well, I've listened to this guy, Merle Haggard. And she said, that's good. That's a good start right there. And then I said, and I've listened to this guy, Ricky Skaggs, and also this guy, Vince Gill. I love the Everly Brothers as growing up, and that really helped with my harmony sensibilities. To be able to sing harmony, as my family sang harmonies also. I'm originally from Florida. So Emmylou said, if you like harmonies and two-part harmonies, you may want to go back and listen to the Louvin Brothers. I went, sure thing, I'll go and do that. So that was another huge impression. She was like my big sister. She just said, if you like these people, here's where they came from. Here's the roots of what that was. And so that shaped it in a whole different way than here's the newest, hottest thing. It was more about, come on in, this is what this is about. These people were doing this, and it was a natural thing. It came out of the hollers and whatever else that she just respected. It was done with so much dignity and respect. And I loved that.
Hi, my name is Sylvia Ganier, and we're here at Green Door Gourmet, which is a farm that my husband and I opened to the public a few years back. I've lived in Nashville for 35 years, and I've seen a lot of change in Nashville, but the one thing that really means Nashville to me is our sense of community. From the minute I set foot, this feels like a large, small town. And the relationship that people build, you don't have to be a musician to have friends that are musicians. You don't have to be a great chef to have friends that are foodies. So this sense of community and being able to be who you are is really an important part of Nashville to me. And we like to continue that community in what we do on an everyday basis here, feeding the people of Nashville. So what a better way to support your community than to feed them, right? So that is what Nashville really means to me, is this sense of community that I was able to find so many years ago when I first moved to town and really only knew one or two people here. And one of the 2 or 3 or 4 people that I happened to know here when I moved to town were some great musicians. And if I had to think of a song that means Nashville to me, I would have to say probably a song recorded by Newgrass Revival called Hold to a Dream. It really embodies what Nashville is. You can do or be anything you want to be in a supportive community, and that's what Nashville means to me.
Hi, I'm Todd Greene. I'm a writer, a singer. Nashville means to me the start of things musically. A lot of people say community, and it is community. It's a big community, a small community too. It's the start. Growing up, learning about Nashville was, in my time, was Johnny Cash and Chris Christopherson, Willie Nelson, Loretta Lynn, all of that. But when I first started to want to come here, I realized that it was the place to go make music and be discovered, or be able to get your stuff out there, or whatever. Now, later on comes along technology and all that, so it's a little bit easier to do that from anywhere you want to be now, but still Nashville means opportunity, community today, even the way things are. But for me to come here, when I first came here in '91, I had aspirations, just like any other person that wanted to do music or be recognized for doing music. I'd grown up on Beatles and Led Zeppelin and Marvin Gaye and James Taylor, of which I'm from North Carolina, so I was a big James Taylor fan. But during that late 80s, early 90s craze of the country shift, I was listening to people that I just thought were good. And the one thing that made me think about Nashville was On the Other Hand by Randy Travis. At that time, Randy was just killing it. I mean, he was winning every award you could possibly win, and it was on every other television show or what have you beyond that. And so it was just recognition of him. But We played in the same backyard, so to speak, in North Carolina, so I knew about him, but was influenced more by just the sound and where it came from, meaning it came from Nashville, and that's what drew me here. That and tons of other people, Vince Gill, I mean, I can go on and on and on, that I was influenced by. On the other hand, kind of got me Nashville in the picture for me. Everybody's got their story. I'm sticking to mine.